Welcome to our programme. Every month, we bring you a summary of the most important debates and decisions of the European Parliament's plenary session. In January, the EPP-ED group grew to 289 members, making it the largest ever political group in the history of the European Parliament. Let's start with the headlines. Parliament set standards for the future of the automobile. Hefty airport charges become lower and fairer. The beginning of the unification of the consumer credit market. What will cars and vehicles look like in the future? How will the industry raise its technical standards to help protect the environment? These questions and more were the subject of a major report debated and voted on during January's plenary session.
The so-called CARS 21 report stresses the economic importance of the European automobile industry as it produces 19 million vehicles per year, providing 2.3 million direct jobs and a further 10 million indirectly. The European automobile industry currently faces tough international competition, fast technological change, as well as a growing demand in terms of the environment and road safety. To respond to these challenges, the Commission created a high-level group of stakeholders to reflect on the future of the European car industry. French MEP Nicole Fontaine, who led the debate for the EPP-ED group, congratulated the Commission on its initiative to create the CARS 21 reflection group, though she warned that in the future MEPs should be better represented.
In 2003, many of us, Ministers of Industry, welcomed a new approach focusing on a given industrial sector in order to reach appropriate solutions. We remember that this was the case, for example, for the textile sector, and this was a success. This approach allows professionals to work together and achieve an integrated approach. I would just add a wish for the future, a representation which better reflects the diversity of professionals concerned by the sector and an increased involvement with the European Parliament.
Ms Fontaine agreed with the rapporteur that research funds need to be increased to meet binding CO2 targets in the car industry.
The auto industry is a source of employment, competitiveness, growth and innovation, and thus a substantial increase in the funding of research and development, especially in the areas of hydrogen engines, fuel cells or hybrid vehicles, is necessary. The message is clear. Automobile research technology must certainly be a priority for the European Institute of Innovation and Technology.
Finally, Nicole Fontaine reminded the hemicycle that industry needs sufficient lead time to prepare for the production of cars with lower CO2 emissions. As the development of new types of passenger cars takes about 5 to 7 years, MEPs urged the Commission not to set any final mandatory targets for CO2 emissions for any date before 2015. From then on, however, an average target of 125 grams per kilometre of CO2 emissions for new passenger cars should be achievable.
The EPP-ED group played a leading role in the adoption of a new directive making airport charges fairer. Hungarian member Zsolt Becsi, spokesperson on the issue for the EPP-ED group, led the debate.
The new regulation is a good compromise. It is right that the Transport Committee has focused only on the essential principles. The aim is to eliminate different practices in the Member States which relate to various tariff-fixing systems.
The report adopted on airport charges provides community-wide rules facilitating a well-functioning, non-discriminatory, transparent and comprehensive procedure in calculating airport charges. The directive aims to prevent any abuse of a dominant position in the market by individual airports, and it also seeks to contribute to a balanced development of the European air transport sector. There are three main points in this proposal. First, it paves the way for future investment in airports. If the body managing the airport informs the airlines 5 years before new airport infrastructure becomes operational, the airport may assert its interest through pre-financing when airport charges are set. Secondly, airlines and airport service providers should conclude a general service agreement, establishing quality standards for the services offered to passengers. And last but not least, a threshold is set for the airports which are included in the scope of the directive. These are airports that have at least 5 million passengers per year, or more than 15% of the total number of passengers per year in the member states concerned. Zsolt Becsi insisted that
Transparency is the biggest benefit of the new regulation. This is going to reinforce the trust of the citizens.
2 out of 3 Europeans use consumer credit to buy furniture, cars or household appliances. Yet the consumer credit market remains largely national. A report by Kurt Lechner, however, a member of the EPP-ED group, was adopted by the European Parliament, aiming to harmonise relevant contracts at European level.
The main purpose of the Consumer Credit Directive is to create easier access to cross-border consumer credits. At present, such credits account for less than 1% of private loans in the European Union. Parliament, Council and Commission agree that more and better information is needed so that consumers can benefit from the internal market in the financial sector as well. The European Parliament has achieved substantial improvements in the first draft of the Consumer Credit Directive. It negotiated a number of simplifications and cut back on red tape and bureaucracy. It was also possible to allow Member States more freedom with regard to premature repayment of loans. While the Council compromise wanted to limit compensation for early repayment to 1%, Member States will now be allowed to facilitate a higher compensation. On the other hand, repayments of up to €10,000 per year will be exempted from any compensation. Parliament's rapporteur, Kurt Lechner, member of the EPP-ED group, however, warns against red tape and higher credit costs resulting from over-regulation. Safeguards, such as information rights, should therefore remain limited to the core aspects consumers and banks need to know about.
Consumers, as the weakest link in the contractual chain, have to be protected by law, but at the same time, the principles of contractual freedom and individual responsibility of citizens have to be part of the criteria, and not statism and paternalism. National legislators have to be given some leeway so that they can be flexible in guaranteeing the protection of their consumers and react quickly to problematic issues of consumer protection. A collection of rules alone does not constitute consumer protection. An impact assessment would have been necessary.
It is expected that both the Council of Ministers and the Commission will accept the changes made by Parliament. Additional positive results include a common method to calculate costs and interest in the European Union, as well as harmonised legal provisions for consumer credits.
For an extended version of the plenary session debates, log on to our website www.epp-ed.eu. This programme was brought to you by the press service of the EPP-ED Group, the largest political group in the European Parliament. See you again soon.